After overcoming depression and seeing my friends see me as an example, that I used to trade my body, but now I got knowledge to do something better. Seeing them change and have since joined me and have gotten better jobs, I was motivated to become a counselor so that I can save many of them. I discovered that many of us were depressed, many were struggling just like I was, yet they can be helped.
For many women in rural and slum areas, the word depression is quite foreign. Unfortunately, in our local languages, it's also difficult to find a direct translation. Today we follow Madina Nanyanzi, a peer facilitator, as she goes ahead to explain to some of these women what depression is in their local languages.
About 4.6% of the population in Uganda struggles with depression. The rural and urban slum communities are the most affected. Poverty, unemployment, poor sanitation, poor housing structures are features that define such areas.
Mental illness in poverty just looks very different from mental illness when you have some funds, yeah? Mental illness in poverty is really ugly, and it has dire consequences to not just to the woman herself who's suffering, but also to her own children. In the rural community, when this mom is down, her household comes to a standstill, literally. Food will not be cooked, the garden will not be dug, the sick grandma will not be cared for.
We are in Banda, an informal settlement located 7 kilometers outside Kampala, the central business district. It houses over 50,000 people over a 150-acre piece of land, the highest population in the division. Madina Nanyanzi, 52, moved here over 15 years ago to start her life over after a bitter divorce and 2 children on her back. Caught in the right place at the wrong time, she was trapped in a web of prostitution.
I had lost my marriage. I had left my husband with my 2 children. When I arrived in this place, the situation was not kind. Unfortunately for me, my first stop was in a place with a bad reputation. The women there were prostitutes, and now I had joined them. So here I was in the city, no job, but I was told not to worry, that even if I had no job, things would be easy. They said they had work and the job didn't require capital investments, and with the work, they were able to take care of their families and children.
But day by day, the thought of contracting HIV, other diseases and lifetime of events subverted her spirit, drawing her into depression and hopelessness. The World Health Organization has recommended talk therapy in places and to persons that cannot afford treatment. Madina was fortunate to receive this kind of treatment.
When telling you to join them, they don't tell you the problems involved. You're only told how it is an instant paying job as long as you know how to call the customer. Come here, mine is fresh. Anyway, I did the job, but after doing it without being told the downside, I found challenges. You start sleeping with men without knowing the status. Men with different characters, each with their own weird behavior, all in the name of sustaining children. I was depressed and I didn't know. Till I met Strong Minds, I sincerely had accepted prostitution as a well-paying job.
The Strong Minds Group Therapy Initiative was rolled here 6 years ago to counter depression among women. The therapy treatment starts with mobilization, whereupon peer mobilizers go into communities and psych-educate about depression, its triggers, and how the women can get treatment. So how do you mobilize these women?
I go to their homes, to their houses, and I talk to them. The women have seen me for quite some time. They have seen me counsel women. I also ensure that I'm always with the women in the community. So what is depression? It is when a person gets thoughts, and when those thoughts make 2 weeks, those are 14 days. It becomes depression. It all begins with a thought. Before you know it, it takes days, and the thoughts are now endless.
A needs assessment form is presented as the sieve to establish if the women do indeed need therapy. I have noticed that you first teach women about depression. Can I ask why?
I have to educate them, because if you come and just throw it at them and say, I'm here to treat you, without them understanding what you're going to treat, they may not trust you.
For many, the triggers are quite different and are easily passed off as general stressing factors. But for most, their children's future stands at the core of it all.
When the children are returning to school, that's the most stressful time. You have endless thoughts on where you're going to get the money to take them back, and yet they have to study. It's just frustrating.
When mobilization is done, pre-assessment is the next step, and who makes it to therapy is dependent on the mental facilitator's assessment.
Mental health facilitators work begin. Even at mobilization we come in. When they are doing the sensitization, we go and support. After sensitization, they do pre-assessment. And the person who scores below 5 is not considered depressed. Then 5 and above, they are pre-grouped. After pre-group, someone should score 10 and above. And then after they are recruited into sessions. The sessions run for 8 weeks.
When the women are grouped, therapy begins. It's during sessions that they are given further education on depression. Image illustrations are used to give a clear picture and have the women identify how heavy they find their burdens. The trick to this is the women share their burdens and give each other solutions.
My mother is admitted in Murago. I have to take care of her and my family, but I have no money the hospital is asking for. I have to do everything, yet I also don't have. The way things are moving, I see my mom dying right before my eyes, and I am helpless. Now that your mother is sick, when you make 10,000, send her 5,000 and use the rest at home, my fellow women. It is important that we work, because now in such a situation, if you are working, maybe the burden wouldn't be at 5.
All this is done under the supervision of the mental health supervisor.
I do the supervision also, where I come to support. There is a supervision and then also the quality assessment. So during supervision, I come in where I see that she's not, maybe she's missing out something. I come in and fill it in.
I'm sure you have noticed that this community-centered initiative only caters for women. According to the World Health Organization, women suffer from depression twice the rate of men. And according to Strong Minds Uganda, when you treat a woman, you treat her entire family.
In a perfect world, we would love to treat anybody, to be honest. Men also suffer just as much as women. However, we do not have the resources to do everything. And so we had to ask ourselves, where do we cast this net where we'll have the greatest impact? And because we have a high, a high rate of female-headed households, and also just because of the role that the woman plays in the home and in the community, we felt that by treating a woman, you're not just treating her, you're treating her children, you're treating the mom who she's looking after, you're treating her community.
As a rural and urban slum-based initiative, group therapy has seen the recovery of over 121,000 women countrywide. As the second cycle begins, the number is set to double.
Last cycle, we treated about 18,000 people, and that was through 801 volunteers and about 76 staff members on the ground. Next cycle, the cycle that we are running right now, is going to treat roughly about the same number, between 18,000 and 20,000. But next cycle, we are going to onboard another 200 volunteers or so. So then we are going to be treating about 20 to 22,000 people.